Thank you to Ritual for sponsoring this week's video. With just 2 easy-to-take capsules, Ritual provides 9 high-quality key nutrients that we need on a daily basis. Ritual searched the globe for suppliers from around the world and is transparent about where they source their ingredients. That means that there are no fillers, colorants, or shady additives, so you know exactly what's going into your body. The capsule design is gentle on an empty stomach, and there's a mint tab in every bottle to keep your vitamins smelling fresh. Ritual is also vegan-friendly, sugar-free, non-GMO, gluten, and allergy-free. Each bottle is made with 100% recycled materials, and mailers are made from recycled newsprint. They also offer a men's multivitamin, a 50-plus vitamin, prenatal, postnatal, and teen vitamins that can be delivered straight to your door. They just launched a new essential protein to help promote healthy aging for everyone. Right now, Ritual is offering 10% off for the first 3 months of your order. So go to ritual.com/redpoppy and use the code REDPOPPY at checkout for your order.
Thank you everybody for supporting Sage. We're currently stamping out the medallions so she can get everything shipped out this week.
I've already sent some out, but if you have not gotten your necklace yet, just know by the time this is going to be posted on Sunday,
Next
right?
Sunday.
So on Sunday, it will have already been sent out. So it's on its way.
She had an overwhelming amount of orders, which is what I hoped would happen and what I kind of knew would happen. And we couldn't be more grateful for that.
We should have been a little bit more prepared.
Yeah.
But I kind of had a little bit of self-doubt. I didn't know how interested people were going to be.
We're just trying to get this done before Cedar comes home to find an anvil in her kitchen. But
It's raining.
But it's raining outside and we're not in a hurry to be out in the cold.
In the last 3 nights, we've lost 3 chickens. We have another one that's injured. She's just kind of hanging out, not knowing what to do yet. And we haven't had predators or anything. We haven't seen anything for a long time. Nothing's bothered them until the last couple of nights. And we're bound and determined tonight to catch whatever it is. So they'll leave my ladies alone.
I think it's a raccoon. I'm almost positive it's raccoon based on the evidence that was left behind. When a skunk kills a chicken, they're pretty obvious that it's a skunk. This, I'll just say there was no meat left on the chickens, and that's more common to a raccoon, and the head was still there. Skunks like taking the heads off chickens for some reason. If it takes me a few nights, we have to get this figured out, because every night the raccoon or whatever it is coming back. And so the plan is for tonight is to make sure all the chickens get in, and the little opening that the goats currently have their heads through, which is the only opening to get into the chicken coop at night, I'm gonna put the live trap right there. Hey, crazy. Oh, hey. This is the live trap that I'm gonna use tonight to try and catch whatever's gotten our chickens. The idea behind this is that the animal that goes in here steps on that plate, triggers the gate to close. The problem is it's a little old and rickety and worn out. These things are notorious for either not closing or closing when they're not supposed to. So I'm hoping I can get this thing calibrated to where it does its job, because we don't want to lose any more chickens. That's how sensitive it is.
I just counted 24 hens, 1 rooster. Hopefully that's how many we have in the morning.
We should have 28.
So for sure we've lost 3.
Cedar and I got all the hens and the rooster put away in the coop. We got the opening to the coop blocked off so a raccoon cannot get in there. Now we just have to hope that he smells that tuna and tries to get into that live trap. Oh my goodness, look at that. Just tore right off. What? The family has been talking about building something for the goats to play on for quite some time. I had the thought that I would use whatever lumber I had laying around the place to try and keep costs at a minimum, but build something that would last a while and hopefully bring some entertainment to the goats. Yeah, you guys open that pad up, Reed. Open it up flat, make sure we're right. It started by moving the trampoline out of the goat pen, up on the hill to a better location that happens to be a little bit more flat, getting the trampoline set back up so it can still be used by Callie and Reed and any of the other friends and family that may want to use a trampoline when they stop by to see us. As soon as we get a couple other big projects out of the way, one of the things that we have to get done this summer is fencing the two little pastures up on the hill so we can move the goats from the lower pen up on the hill where they have an abundance of grass and weeds, so we don't have to supplement them while there's good feed around the place. Let your brother swing with you, Cal. We learned last year that in spite of having some of the best electric fencing we could have, it still didn't keep the goats in. So as soon as we have the time, the plan is to continue the goat fencing around those two pastures. So as the goats chew the grass and the weeds down, we can move them from pasture to pasture as needed.
I'm covered in chalk. Let me try to do that. I'm way not so normal. Yeah.
And then the ladder.
It feels not so bouncy anymore. Yeah.
So bouncy?
Yeah.
Do we need to move it out here? Or it's a little bit more level out here?
Like, take it apart?
No, just drag it. So we didn't lose any chickens last night, thank goodness. But whatever got into that trap and ate that tuna didn't set the trap off. So I went down and bought a new trap that's a much better quality. It's not an old worn out. That trap I have is old and worn out. That's my wrist. Ah! Oh! Stop. Hey, be. Yeah.
Oh, huge. But they're gonna be like as small as a railroad. When you said kayak this time, I meant size. Is this drought? What? Is this drought? Hey. Oh.
Okay, let's go. We still have a few railroad ties left, and as durable and long-lasting as those railroad ties are, I figured that would be the best foundation to build a couple of platforms on for the goats. I regularly look for input from Callie and Reed as we're doing these projects. Oftentimes I'll come up with an idea to build something. Then I will ask them for their input and maybe have them do a little research along the way. My hope is that this gives them a greater connection to the projects that we're doing, and hopefully, over the long term, gives them some memories to fall back on as they get older. As crazy as lumber prices are right now, whenever we do little projects like this, I find myself up on the hill, going through whatever scrap lumber we may have laying around. After finding the pallets that would work the best, we grabbed a Sawzall and a metal blade, and we went to work. It didn't take long to break down the pallets and get the materials that we need to build the two little platforms. While this particular project is more for fun than anything, I think about all the other potential projects that we'll have going on around the place this summer, and how most of these projects will require a fair amount of lumber. The next big project will be the back of the house as we change the pitch and the roof. And we know it's not going to be cheap, but we also know it's got to be done. Tell me what Google said now.
So, I said, are bad words bad? And it said, don't watch your mouth. Swearing can actually be good for your health. Studies show cursing during a physically painful event and help us better tolerate the pain. Experts say using curse words can also help us build emotional resilience and cope with situations in which we feel that we have no control.
So now that you know what Google says, do you want to know what your father says?
Bad words.
Good
words.
Unless you like the taste of Tabasco, you better avoid some of them words.
Well, then why am I not allowed to put Tabasco in your mouth?
Because I'm a grown-up.
Next
My
time
dad
you say
already
one,
my
put it
dad already did that
outside,
to
put it in
my
your
dad
mouth.
already did that to me when I was your size.
Well, I
Now I like Tabasco.
Say it.
That's why I like Tabasco so much.
Why your mom doesn't talk like that? Because I don't like Tabasco.
Yeah, I don't care what Google says, buddy.
Okay,
There's
so
certain
next
words
time
we
you
don't
say-
use in this house.
The next time you say a bad word, I'm gonna get Tabasco out of the fridge and pour it in.
Put it on my
Eyes.
my breakfast. Sounds good.
Your eyes.
You leave me hanging?
That hurt. I'm sorry.
No, it's all right. Are you proud of your child?
Yeah, don't be Googling inappropriate things.
I just wanted to know if it was bad or not.
You know what's right and wrong. That was funny.
That was really funny.
It's good for your health, Dad.
It's good for my health. I've been telling that to your mom for the last 24 years. She says negative on the health.
You never even knew that. I wasn't. Do you have to do it on this side right here?
Now we're gonna do
Yes.
just like this. The 2x12s that we will use have definitely gone up quite a bit in price, but they haven't gone up anywhere near as much as OSB has. So we're going to do everything that we can to use the existing OSB on the roof and try and keep costs down. But unfortunately, this is a project that has to be done. I can remember as a young child occasionally hearing my dad use a four-letter word that I knew I wasn't allowed to use. But as I got older, I realized all of the four-letter words that he used in the heat of battle were also four-letter words that could be found in the good book.
I don't even know how to use one.
I never heard my dad use any words above and beyond that. As he got older, and as we all matured, I began to hear those words less and less. Basketball was such an important part of all of our lives growing up, and we all assumed that those four-letter words went hand in hand with competitive sports. Come on. There we go. There she goes. Like a big baby.
Are you just gonna do these? Or are you do something else?
For now.
Fernando.
Oh, Lily. Oh. One particular summer, my brother that just happens to be a few years older than me had the opportunity to go from Arizona to the family ranch in Idaho and work for my grandfather's nephew who ran the dairy next door. My brother spent that summer working with cows, and after returning home, he was firmly convinced that the art of using the four-letter word was developed around cows and not basketball. No, you can watch it move. Okay, there's a few more wood scraps you need to pick up, Reed. Okay, let's figure out how we're gonna do the ramp. I've heard it said that the language we use is a direct reflection of our intelligence. And while this may be very true, it seems like there's a time and a place for those four-letter words. Hopefully, as I mature, like my father, those words will slowly disappear. But when something is relentlessly killing your chickens, it can be a little frustrating. All right, this is a new, much better, completely different mechanism for throwing the gate. So it's now latched. So now I got the tuna. Oh, this will be way back here. Let's see how sensitive this thing is. Yeah, if we're gonna get them, it's gonna be with this trap. So,
Here comes Ellie. Move, Ellie. Ellie, come on.
I'm gonna get this one out of here. So we should be good to go. So I'm gonna come out here at like 3 in the morning and check it. Okay, I caught Callie's cat in the trap last night, which we know Callie's cat is not killing the chickens. So I reset the trap, and I'll come out at about 3 o'clock in the morning and check again and see if we can't catch this raccoon or whatever is in fact killing the chickens. Okay, next one. Now, yes, good job. That's good.
Okay.
go grab that black one I showed you. Ellie's baby or Elsie's baby, whatever his name is. Just walk over there. If you can get Hazel, get Hazel. Get back. Just get back. And then the rest of it up on top. There we go. Now get out of the way. Thank you. Let's go, bye-bye. Let's go, bye-bye. Come on. Bye. Help me stack it?
Sure.
So that looks like a good value, $1,000 for all that wood. The problem is I'm afraid that 30 to 40% of it is going to be firewood because it's not grade A or number 1 or number 2 even. There's a lot of waste in it. He made me a good deal on it because one of the a couple of the bands were busted open. It had been sitting for a while, so it's worth the effort to pick through it. But a good quality load of usable tongue and groove a year to year and a half ago should have been about $400, maybe even $500 at most, and I paid $1,000. So it is what it is. But now I got to get it way up to the cabin, and that's going to take some effort. So here we go. This 1x6 pine tongue and groove is what's called low grade tongue and groove. It is by no means grade 1 or 2, and it's barely grade 3, which means most of this wood has knots in it or major imperfections. That means that I have to go through it, sort it out, cut off what is usable, remove what isn't, and hope that there's still enough to finish the little cabin. When I bought it at the mill, he seemed to think that there would be about a 15% loss. But as I go through the wood, it's probably going to be closer to a 30% loss. But the upside is we have more firewood. No. The maple trees have filled in beautifully with their leaves this year. But it makes it very dark down under the canopy. So dark, in fact, that I have to use a light inside the tiny cabin to get the cameras to work properly. Had I put another window or two in the cabin, it really wouldn't have made that big of a difference. The trees are all competing for sunlight right now, and when they fill in, not a whole lot of sun gets through. I considered trying to break down the pallets and use the pallet wood for the walls up here at the tiny cabin. But I knew I didn't have enough pallets, and I was worried that the quality of lumber on the pallets just wouldn't look good here in the tiny cabin. Look at Bandit's going swimming. Jump in. He's thirsty. He needs a drink. Here goes Ruby.
Wait, Dad?
Huh.
Let's go.
Here. Stay there. See if Bandit comes. Call Bandit.
Oh, yeah, good boy.
Ruby wants to go now.
Oh, it's slippery. It's slippery.
So normally the creek runs until typically September, October, something like that. But there's already portions of the creek that are bone dry. The water does go underground and come back up, but this is very low for this time of year. I was nervous even bringing Callie and Reed up here that the cow pond had gone down quite a bit. It's gone down about a foot, but I'm really worried that by the end of the season, by the end of the summer, that we may have maybe the worst fire season we've ever seen so far. But it's sure pretty right now.
Oh, wait, I need another rock.
I decided to go through the tongue and groove, sort it, cut any bad wood out of it before I even take it up to the cabin to try and save a little bit of time. I'm pretty sure that I bought enough tongue and groove to get the job done, but during the process I wonder if we will ever see normal lumber prices again. While the supply and demand of lumber always drives the price up, this is a bit ridiculous. Without putting my tinfoil hat on, is there some grand scheme that might be pushing all those that are looking for a new home to buy an existing home versus trying to build a new one? I'm not sure, but I worry that the price of OSB will never be reasonable ever again. While interest rates are still very low, I worry about those that might be in the middle of a construction loan, and they might be struggling to make it work because of these extreme prices. So in the meantime, I'll continue to pick through the low-grade tongue and groove and make it work in the little cabin. The tiny cabin is probably somewhere between a quarter mile and a half mile away from our house. Ironically, up here where the tiny off-grid cabin is, I have 5G and perfect cell reception on my phone, while down at the house we mainly use Wi-Fi calling. I'm fairly certain the tiny cabin will be used with the family to create memories, but I also think the cabin represents a good opportunity to leave the cell phone down at the house, maybe spend a day or two up here, reflecting on all the things in my life I have to be grateful for. Because I separated the bad tongue and groove from the good down at the shop, installing it is going much faster. It's a fairly simple process to get it installed, but once all of the walls are done, I'll bring my sander up here and clean things up just a little bit. We like the tongue and groove look so much that we've considered using it other places. We've even considered doing the entire shop in tongue and groove, but doing this now would cost probably 4 times what drywall will cost. Over the last year and a half, while the price of everything seems to have gone up, drywall, of all things, really hasn't gone up that much, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Virtually all homes built in North America use drywall anymore. As much as I dislike the process of hanging drywall and taping and texturing, once the new barn for the chickens, goats, and the generator is finished, I will hang the drywall on the inside of the shop and begin the process of taping and texturing it until it's finished. A while back, I saw where someone used asphalt shingles on any incline that the goats used regularly, and as the goats would go up and down the ramps, walking on those asphalt shingles, it would wear their feet down, so they didn't require any trimming. I think we will do something similar for the goats here on these pedestals. I think we got a sick goat. I still have that beautiful wood stove sitting in the shop that's just waiting to be installed up here at the little cabin. Once that's done, I'll build a little desk right here by one of the windows where maybe I can sit and reflect and hopefully let the creative process happen. I still need to build a little side shed off of the cabin where I can stack firewood and possibly have a little prep area for cooking. But the main focus right now is getting the inside finished so we can use it. I've said this before, but every little project we do is an opportunity to learn. It's an opportunity for me to get better at whatever it is that I'm doing. And oftentimes along the way, I identify things that I might do different if I was to ever do it again. And while I love having this little cabin up on the hill, Cedar and I have been talking about building something down close behind the shop possibly, that maybe one of the older kids might use, or when friends and family come to stay with us, they have their own space to stay in. But that project's a little bit lower on the list right now. Once the inside of the tiny cabin is completely finished, it will be time to get focused on the house once again. Changing the pitch on the back of the house, then changing the roof, then getting the solar panels moved is the next big project on our list.
First bases.
You go on with your stride. Like lumber and just about everything else, the price of steel has also gone up. The 12-foot R-panel pieces of tin that I will use to cover the roof have gone up at least 20% since I finished the roof on the shop. So it's not going to be cheap to put the new roof on the house. But once it's done, I'll never have to worry about it again. Once the roof is finished, the solar panels are moved, we can breathe easy, then we'll lean into some of the other projects, like the chicken and goat barn. That also really needs to get done this summer. And while I worry that it's going to be a long, dry summer and fall, we will still continue to move forward, trying to better our position here at the ranch. We still want to build a geothermal greenhouse. We will also build a root cellar right near the house, and hopefully the weather cooperates along the way. So I've had a couple thoughts about the little cabin. Number one, the thought that I've had is, what am I going to use it for other than maybe just a little escape to kind of come decompress? I had the thought that maybe I shouldn't allow any electronics up here. Maybe all of the lighting that I do in here will be either oil lamp or candle, and no cell phones allowed. But then the other thought that I just had is maybe I will turn this into an off-grid podcast studio. We will see. Well, unfortunately, I didn't catch anything in the trap last night, so I'm going to keep watching that trap, seeing if I can't get that figured out. Also, don't forget to click the link in the description to learn more about this week's sponsor, Ritual. And finally, we wanted to wish all of you a very happy and safe Memorial Day.